The Prime Minister speaks on increased fire hazards in the country. An angry Governor Jufa takes out court order preventing his removal. And a monitoring and surveillance meeting discuss threats of Ebola.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
Good evening and welcome. This is Wednesday's news. Thanks for your company. The Prime Minister has promised significant increases in funding to the Papua New Guinea Fire Service amidst public calls for the service to be improved. Speaking in Lae today, he said the fire service is one of the many government services allowed to deteriorate over the years and the government has no choice but to rebuild them. The PM's comments come after 2 fires yesterday.
Yesterday, the 2T trading on 8th Street was destroyed. Within the same hour, a residence in Chinatown also destroyed. 1 person died, another injured. Earlier this week, this fire at Voko Point gutted the former headquarters of Kambang Holdings, the business arm of the Lutheran Church. And days before that, Mount Hagen, 8 shops gone. Today, the Prime Minister responded to questions put to him about the state of the Papua New Guinea Fire Service.
So we are going to increase the number of equipments that they've got, training that they have, so that we can respond to many of these emergencies on a timely basis.
The Prime Minister's response comes less than 48 hours after 2 fires in Lae City. He pointed out to the Lae media that work has been ongoing over the last 2 years to improve the state of the Papua New Guinea Fire Service. Mr. O'Neill said the Department of Provincial and Local Level Government responsible for the fire service has been given increased funding and changes should happen soon.
We want to also expand the fire services capacity to include other emergencies. When there's flooding, when there's bushfires, when there's accidents.
In Lae City, the fire service has been on the receiving end of public criticism after a total of 13 reported fires in a space of 24 months. They lack equipment and manpower to counter large industrial fires. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Lae can be expected to see more of its impact projects such as the Lae Tidal Basin and road upgrades coming into full operation in the next 2 months. Speaking at the opening of the Lae Wharf extension, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill said Lae will also feature prominently in the 2015 national budget. The focus now is to turn Lae into an industrial hub in the Pacific.
This port facility is another inclusion of what would become the main drivers of PNG's economic growth. The Prime Minister, who came to commission the opening of the facility, says the government has more money for Lae.
It is the industrial city of our country. A lot of businesses are taking place here, a lot of export taking place here. And of course, with the view of the new mine coming along, it is important that we build an infrastructure that is going to see this industrial hub.
There's no clear figures given on how much Morobe province will get in the 2015 budget, but he says the government's plan in transforming Lae into an industrial hub is working.
We have invested over $1 billion kina in Lae City Port alone.
Today, the PNG Port Services commissioned their new wharf extension. Lae Port gets about 200 million tons of cargoes every month. Cargo volumes have increased since 2006, giving an indication of strong economic growth. Over the next 2 months, Lae will be opening several other impact projects, the Lae Tidal Basin project and the Lae City Road upgrade. Lae will be the gateway to inland resource development projects such as the Eden Valley mines in Bulolo and the LNG project in the Ella province. Their supplies will land here first before it's transported inland. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Lae.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill is furious over the delay in the construction of the Lae to Nadzap Highway. At the commissioning of the Lae Wharf extension, he vented his frustration in the news conference, saying the government has already spent 60 million kina on the road. The PM travelled by road from Nadzap to Lae and was appalled by the state of the road.
I'm very disappointed that the construction of Lae Road to Nadzap, we've spent 60 million kina already. Why is the road not moving? Why is there so much delay? Why is the the potholes been graded and maintained so that traffic can move freely.
Northern Province Governor Gary Juffa has described the whole process as illegal and will pursue the matter in court. He maintained that the appointment of Ijivitari MP David Arore as governor-elect was illegal. However, Mr. Arore refuted the claims, saying that they used Section 20 of the Organic Law on provincial and local level government to dismiss Mr. Juffa as the governor and appoint him as governor-elect.
How are you going to repair these things if you don't have the money?
An angry Governor Juffa came to the EMTV studio today to clarify what had transpired in the province following the appointment of Ijivitari MP David Arore as governor. Before going into details, he blasted the media to report facts and accused reporters for siding with Mr. Arore. He then deemed the whole proceedings as illegal.
Open member for Ijivitari David Arore and his band of rogue presidents broke the assembly gate and broke the assembly door and unlawfully entered into that building. They held an illegal assembly and they had an illegal PEC and they declared themselves the government. Now it is quite interesting to note that when they came on the media, they accused me of dictatorial behavior. But this is dictatorial behavior. They said that I was ruling with force, and yet this is exactly what they are doing. Are they that desperate? What concerns me is that a lawyer who was there had advised the police that the police should not act because this was political. And so the police did not act when crimes were being committed. Break and enter, willful damage to public property, and other crimes described in the Criminal Code and Summary Offences Act were broken. Police did not act.
He said he has reported the matter to the police commissioner and will pursue the matter in court.
As for the two open members, I'm interested to know why it is that the member for Sohe and the Minister for Community Development paid a check to Grand Papua, and I have those documents. This check was for 4 council presidents to be accommodated there. Is the Ministry of Community Affairs and Development now involved in fostering political upheaval in my province? Why did she pay for the policemen to travel to Popondetta? She needs to answer this. With what funds? Where did she get the funds to do that? And I am curious to know where they're getting the money to accommodate themselves here, to visit Poki's areas and drink beer and party and entertain themselves, and then go home to Popondetta, to Awala, the home of Sylvanus Siembo, who is also part of this. He is a former governor who was arrested and convicted of misappropriation, and he went to jail for this. Are these the people that we want to run our province?
However, he maintained that the root cause for all the politics was because he was stopping all illegal logging activities in the province.
This is about illegal logging. This is about the fact that I have decided to take a stance against it, not only on behalf of the people of Oro, but on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea. That we must stand up and say enough is enough, that illegal logging must stop, the export of round logs must stop, the rape of our forests must stop, that we must listen to the pleas and cries of our landowners.
He said true leadership is about responsibility, and that is what he is trying to demonstrate. However, when contacted by EMTV today, Ijivitari MP David Arore, who is currently in Popondetta, reaffirmed that the whole process was legal, as it was in line with Section 20 of the Organic Law on provincial and local level government that calls for the dismissal of a provincial governor and their deputy. He said the people have spoken by choosing him as governor. Mr. Arore said his supporters will petition the Prime Minister and his deputy to accept yesterday's decision. Meanwhile, police are on the ground to investigate how the vote of no confidence was conducted. Bridget Komatep, National EMTV News.
Sohe MP Delilah Gore will clarify her position on the power struggle in Northern Province in a news conference tomorrow. The member has been silent over the whole issue, but allegations of her involvement have prompted her to break the silence. Investigations into the failed Popondetta Urban Market project are continuing, with arrests soon to be made on individuals found to be implicated. The Urban Market Project is a national government-funded project which has never been completed. Contractor Quickspan Building Systems Limited was tasked to complete the market but failed to deliver, citing funding constraints.
The Popondetta Urban Market project has been at the center of controversy for years. It was funded by the Department of National Planning under the District Market Improvement Program in 2010. Funding of 1.5 million kina was approved for the market. Documents showed a funding support of 7 million kina for the Urban Market project, and a workboat was signed by the current Forestry Minister and member for Kiriwina Goodenough Douglas Tomoriesa. But all this funding has not impacted the market. It is in a sorry state, incomplete and not worth the money. Following our numerous reports on the market, the provincial government has carried out an independent investigation headed by the Southern Region Criminal Investigations Division. A number of individuals who are currently members of parliament have been implicated, and arrest will soon be made. This is just the tip of the iceberg regarding the number of failed projects in the Northern Province, which the provincial government is investigating. The province over the years has been subjected to a culture of corruption, with the governor setting up a provincial supplies and tenders board to monitor all projects in the province. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Stay tuned, you're watching National EMTV News. A meeting in Madang deliberates on the threat of Ebola, also the opening of a new office complex in Kokopo, and B-Mobile and Vodafone's new Easy Pay package. I'll give you those stories and more after the break. Welcome back to the news. Monitoring and surveillance of overseas vessel movements and activities must be strictly in compliance with maritime laws. This is to ensure PNG's international obligations and commitments for security and trade facilitation is properly monitored to avoid risks. The biosecurity control of pests and diseases that enter the PNG shores is important, especially at this time when Ebola, one of the deadly diseases, is killing thousands in West Africa.
While international trade plays an important role in our society, overseas vessels entering PNG waters must strictly be monitored. Ships operating on international routes have to comply with the International Ships and Port Facility or ISPS code set by International Maritime Organization. Security officers on board all ships and stationed at port facilities must carry out their duties responsibly to ensure all vessels comply with the ISPS code. National Transport Department's Maritime Safety Division First Assistant Secretary Matthew Wawoni said all major ports in PNG execute the ISPS code, and although Ebola is a concern, the risk is low as PNG has no direct trading routes with West Africa.
The agency responsible for that would be the Health Department, working in partnership with PNG Ports Corp and other agencies to ensure that point of entries into Papua New Guinea, especially seaports and border, actually protected and effective inspection carried out to ensure that such trade do not come into Papua New Guinea.
Similar responses were highlighted by National Maritime Safety Authority and the U.S. Coast Guards.
The PNG government has also been discussing about it, that we have not forgotten, and appropriate measures are taken for the relevant authorities who is in charge.
I've passed information to them about what the U.S. has put into place. So we're hoping that all the countries can contain the virus to just certain regions. So.
While the Ebola virus has killed thousands in West Africa and attracting global media attention, PNG is vulnerable, thus calls for tougher security measures at sea and airports. Quintan Alomp, National EMTV News, Madang.
Lack of information sharing by various state agencies in the maritime industry has affected the implementation of adequate security measures in Papua New Guinea. The National Transport Department highlighted this at the Maritime Security Seminar in Madang. Controlling and securing these access gateways is vital to strengthen PNG's economic growth that has become challenging. MTV's Fabian Hakelitz files this report from Madang.
The 2011 seminar finding shows lack of collaborative approach among state agencies that affects the maritime law's proper implementation. While security monitoring and surveillance remain unsteady, Transport Department's Maritime Security Officer Inspector Sylvester Adama appealed to agencies' partnership to implement these laws and policies.
We need to, work in a coordinated, manner, and then the industry would really know where the demarcations of authorities are.
Port security assessments as well as port facility security audits are key elements to strengthen monitoring and surveillance in all seaports as the country's lifeline, handling up to 95% in volume of people's cargoes and movements. Since the ISPS code was introduced in 2004, there's still lack of understanding, including national threat assessment that aims to capture general national security environment.
We would also assist the PFSO in ensuring that the messages that are stated in the plan are totally fully implemented.
It was recommended more development training on human resource capacity will be conducted with the review of several maritime documents to enhance knowledge and skills. Fabian Hagelitz, National EMTV News, Medang.
The Kokopo Vunamami LLG in East New Britain opened its new LLG office complex on Monday. The opening of the complex and commissioning of development projects in the district will see Kokopo move a step closer to becoming the next regional city in the country. The complex is named after former Kokopo MP, the late Oscar Tamur.
Over the last 2 years, Kokopo district of East New Britain province has seen some key development in its infrastructure and service delivery to its people. After the 1994 disaster and the relocation of the town to Kokopo, it is now ready to be commissioned the next capital city of the New Guinea Islands. On Monday, Prime Minister Peter O'Neill officially launched the new LLG office complex and commissioned major impact projects in the district. Kokopo Mayor Duvia Kopman said the district and province is developing because of transparency of its current government.
It has grown rapidly over the last 20 years, from a small district town to becoming the fourth largest city in Papua New Guinea.
Member for Parliament and East New Britain Governor Eremen Tobining Jr. said the district is undertaking 20 development projects. The projects will include rural electrification, water projects, road maintenance, service delivery in health and education. The governor also thanked the government for concentrating on district development.
The people of privilege the honor. Notice our government of today, which is really delivering. First time, lo history, lo country, lo yume, presence, lo government, presence, lo leaders, delivery of services, equal lo deska level, lo province, na district, lo yume.
The Prime Minister said the province of East New Britain will receive the much-needed attention in the coming years to develop further its established infrastructures in education, health and tourism.
We will implement what we have. We will implement the visions that we have, the plans that we have.
The office complex, named after the late Oscar Tamur, will house the district's administration, including the mayor's office. Stanley Oved Jr., National EMTV News.
B-Mobile Vodafone customers can now purchase EasyPay units using their mobile phones for any value between 15 kina and 500 kina from the restricted 15 kina to 50 kina. This was made possible through a partnership between B-Mobile Vodafone and PNG Power Limited. The announcement of their Get Power package was made today.
CEO Sundar Ramamathi said he was delighted with the opportunity to form a partnership with PNG Power that will enable customers to buy EasyPay top-up units.
Firstly, it lets PNG Power address a larger part of the market because there are many companies now that want to buy more than 50 kina, and they can do that. So all you need is a B-Mobile SIM.
He said the company understands some of the restrictions for EasyPay purchase on mobile phones of 15 kina to 50 kina and are removing those restrictions so customers can purchase more.
The current restrictions on buying electricity is 15 kina to 50 kina. We have removed those restrictions, so you can buy from 15 to 500 kina, because it helps PNG Power as well. A lot of the customers want to buy more than 50 kina.
Ramamathi said it took the company 8 months to get the program up and running and is a significant achievement for B-Mobile Vodafone. John Tangit, PNG Power Limited CEO, said PPL is committed to the consumers and the partnership is a way forward to making electricity services accessible for the people. Customers can top up units at any time of the day or night starting from today and can purchase power units from as low as 15 kina to 500 kina with a transaction fee from as low as 1 kina. Judith Kasek, National, MTV News.
And now we check out the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3965 in the interbank market, and at Bank South Pacific, the kina was buying $0.389, $0.4344 Australian dollars, €0.2973 and 41.58 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee and copper closed the day lower, cocoa closed lower as well. Palm oil and crude oil closed higher, copper closed lower. And finally, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 188 points higher, the ASX closed at 5 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed at 3 points lower. And we'll have plenty more national MTV news after the break, including NGO Murray Soap's headway in the autonomous region of Bougainville, and Finance Department promotes gender equality. Stay with us. Thanks for your company and good to have you back with the news. Murray Soap's Papua New Guinea recently launched its outreach centre in Arawa in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Outreach and awareness on family planning, sexual and maternal health services will be conducted in the region, bringing a wider choice of contraception methods to the people of Central and South Bougainville.
Too many mothers die during childbirth and girls fall pregnant at an early age, and this is an issue that needs to be addressed in the country. Taking up the challenge, Murray Stopes PNG recently launched its outreach centre in Arawa in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Country Director of Murray Stopes PNG, Tom Elam, said although family planning has increased in the north of Bougainville, the middle and southern regions have very low use.
Our team here will travel across the autonomous region of Bougainville to provide quality, safe, reliable family planning completely free of charge.
Dr. Joseph Vilosi, doctor in charge at the Arawa Health Centre, said there is very poor statistics of family planning in the region.
The Bougainville Health Services doesn't have the capacity to fully deliver this service.
He said that many mothers have died during childbirth, and with the organization in the area, he hopes that maternal deaths and other issues relating to family planning will be addressed.
A woman is not a machine to generate babies. Okay, you must think plenty. Mama has got a life to live. A life mixed with relatives to enjoy life. It's not a machine to generate babies. You are not responsible for replacing the deaths during the crisis.
The Murray Stopes Outreach Centre is based in the Arawa Health Centre, and service delivery will start in the first week of November, beginning in an area in the North Nasio constituency. Judith Kasek, National, MTV News.
A partnership with Tribal Foundation, Interoil and the Gulf Provincial Government will see health and education services reaching people in the remote province. Through the partnership, medical supplies and equipment will be transported into Karama General Hospital from Port Moresby. Today, Interoil donated 25,000 kina to Tribal Foundation, who will cover transportation costs for a year.
The partnership follows the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between PNG Tribal Foundation and Interoil today. This agreement targets mainly the rural people and is expected to bring health services right into the rural communities.
We are looking at every friend that can come and give us helping hands, and I am quite happy this morning that Tribal Foundation have come in to help us and in partnership to deliver good health services.
It is a new approach for Gulf Province, and Tribal Foundation has become the first NGO group to assist in supplying the basic medical equipment. Through its Project Cure program, Tribal Foundation has been assisting other provinces in PNG, including Morobe, to supply the basic medical equipment to various hospitals and healthcare centers.
So we really are appreciative of InterOil for becoming a member of the tribe and working with the Tribal Foundation, not only with the partnership, but also in a practical way of delivering this medical container. It's got about 1 million kinas worth of medical supplies that's going to Gulf Province.
Once the groundwork is completed, this container of medical goods will be shipped to Kerama by InterOil as part of the work agreement.
They are isolated in many places. As a result, we want to make sure that facilities like this, like health facilities, are provided to them. And
the partnership between Tribal Foundation and Gulf Province will last for 3 years before it will be reviewed in 2017. Teklagunga, National EMTV News.
The Department of Finance has taken the lead to promote equality and inclusiveness across the public sector. Their Gender Equality and Social Inclusion Desk was officially launched today in Port Moresby. Acting Secretary of the Department of Finance, Dr. Ken Nangan, said equality and inclusiveness were no longer side issues in the workplace.
The Gender Equality and Social Inclusion, or GESI desk within the Department of Finance was launched today at the Laguna Hotel in Port Moresby. The launch of the desk comes a year after the government's GESI policy was launched in 2013. The vision of the whole GESI program is to promote gender equality and social inclusion regardless of age, religion, disability, mental status and ethnicity through strategies to contribute to the Department of Finance's vision, mission and values.
We are all blessed with equal amount of intelligence to be able to contribute to society.
Acting Secretary of the Department of Finance, Dr. Ken Nangan, said among its roles, GESI Desk will conduct sensitization workshops, making everyone aware of the issues that exist. He said the recognition of equality must be mainstreamed into the department's working programs.
So when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to opportunities for training, when it comes to opportunities to share resources or for advancement for that purposes, it will all be done within that spirit.
GESI manager Josephine Dini said it is a policy that GESI be implemented by all government agencies. Already, the program has proven helpful for employees.
We are networking with all other agencies, so when there is a problem, we just ring out and refer the people to them to assist.
The GESI desk is located within the Department of Finance's executive branch, which is the office of the Secretary. Dr. Nangan said the responsiveness to equality and inclusion reflects a maturity of development in the department and the country. Delhi Bagu, National EMTV News.
The Morobe provincial government is looking to decentralize its service delivery mechanisms right through to the local level governments. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru explained a delegated approach to share the national government's 45 million kina fund allocation to the province into districts where it is expected to reach the people through service delivery. He says all the powers are being held in the Morobe provincial government, budgets need to be given and funds must be allocated to all districts.
The idea to delegate responsibilities to the district and to the LLGs isn't new, but it hasn't been working due to bureaucratic bottlenecks in one of the country's biggest provinces in the last 30 years. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru explained missing corporate work ethics in Morobe's public service. He says there are too many lazy public servants causing the bottleneck effect in the service delivery mechanism.
Within this integrated development plan, you have a plan which is also comprised of the corporate aspect of it in terms of evaluation, monitoring and implementation. So, two-pla plan you say need him long, come up in mission statement long you mean.
But Naru is still pushing to delegate responsibilities and funding through to the LLGs. It comes after Menyamia MP Benjamin Philip complained about the lack of support coming from the Morobe provincial government.
Governor, me like talk to you awesome. You know that work one time me.
That's all. Remember, me like talking to you straight. Also, me no losing you. Me stop one them you. I think plenty time me come lo minima or land lo me round ni come na project come to ta sola. Wasn't one kind time you penny me too, me penny you because you know stop lo minima too ya.
But as the issue is on relieving bottlenecks in the provincial service delivery mechanism, Nauru also revealed that two Morobian districts, Tewai Siasi and Kabum, haven't submitted the development plans. This comes as 7 out of 9 districts of the Morobe province submitted theirs. Of those 9 districts, Bulolo launched its yesterday after several years of delay.
Me politician, I'll come and go in 5 years. Behind time, people finish go or nupla money come or stop 5 years and go. Our program that people are rolling out, politics money. Provincial administration and me only bring current budget na, some development budget and olim na, and by making him plan na, one and by making him go through.
Bulolo MP Sam Basil explained that he was skeptical about making a plan because after 5 years, it could become useless. District funds are expected to increase to 15 million kina in the 2015 national budget. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Lae.
Given increasing traffic into Port Moresby Wharf, calls to move the wharf to a new location have been ongoing for some time. However, in bringing relief to businesses in Port Moresby, the state has formally signed an agreement which will allow PNG Ports Corporation to relocate the Port Moresby Wharf to a new location. On Tuesday, officials from the Independent Public Business Corporations, PNG Ports Corporation Limited and Curtin Brothers, a sale agreement was signed which will now pave the way for PNG Ports Corporation to relocate its facilities to Motokea just outside of Port Moresby. MTV's Mary Batulo reports.
Motokea was identified as the most suitable area for the Port Moresby Wharf to be relocated to. The facility, originally constructed and operated by Curtin Brothers, was most recently used to transport equipment for the construction of the PNG LNG plant site outside Port Moresby. The proposed relocation to Motokea was approved by the National Executive Council earlier this year, with the signing of a letter of intent in August, formally signifying the state's interest in acquiring a portion of Motokea.
IPBC, ports, and finally the National Executive Council saw the wisdom of acquiring an existing port facility that is already proven to service large cargo, which service the LNG construction and other companies that offloaded large cargo from here over the last 6 years, and therefore the decision was made to move the ports.
On Tuesday, progress towards relocating the Port Moresby Wharf took another step forward with the signing of the sale agreement between the state through IPBC and PNG Ports Corporation and Curtin Brothers, paving the way for work to commence in relocating the wharf. Owner of Curtin Brothers, Sir Michael Curtin, was also present at the occasion, signifying the signing's importance. The acquisition of Motokea will cost the state approximately 725 million kina. Minister Micah says the relocation of the wharf to Motokea is a win-win situation for all parties involved. Maribatulo, National EMTV News.
Tembari Children's Care Centre in Port Moresby has given hope to many disadvantaged children. Founder Peggy Sage Embo wants to use her recent awards win to expand her community programs to benefit women, children and youths in her community at ATS settlements.
On the outskirts of Port Moresby is the ATS settlement. It is a community made up of people mostly from the northern province. Like many settlements, getting by is a daily struggle for people living here. Children especially are vulnerable. They are constantly being subjected to all forms of abuse. But an organization is restoring their childhood, giving them hope for the future. Tembari Children's Care Centre has been a haven of hope for these children, founded by Peggy Sage Embo in 2003. Staff members and volunteers carry out a daily feeding program for 200 children and teach classes to another 300 from grades 1 to 3. Mrs. Sage Embo's community obligation has earned her an award from Westpect. She was the recipient for the Trukai Community Responsibility Award. The award was presented to her recently during the Westpect Outstanding Women Awards Night. She plans to use the 10,000 kina from Trukai to extend her programs to assist women, children and youths in her community. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
17 more days to go, and PNG Games ambassador Dika Toa is on the ground to lift the spirit of the Games. Details in True Kai Sports when we come back.
True Kai Sports.
BSP PNG Games 2014. 17 days to go. Support your province.
2014 PNG Games ambassador Dika Toa has challenged female athletes to strive for success at the PNG Games in Lae next month. The Commonwealth weightlifting champion was in Lae to promote the Games and conduct awareness on sports and healthy living. As part of her visit, she also visited schools and sponsors of the PNG Games. EMTV's Sylvester Gawi reports from Lae.
With 17 days to go before the PNG Games begins in Lae, the momentum is building towards the opening ceremony. The Games organizers said the inclusion of Dika Toa as one of the ambassadors was to promote a high level of training and commitment by the athletes. This morning, she visited the Lae Secondary School, one of the schools that is contributing athletes for the PNG Games. Her message was simple: commitment and sacrifice.
It's all got to do with commitment, discipline and sacrifices you have to put through to achieve your goals at a very high standard.
During her visits today, many people had the opportunity to chat with the two-times Commonwealth champion, who won silver at the Melbourne and gold at the Delhi Games respectively. This is the second time she has been chosen to be part of PNG Games in promoting the event. For Dika, she wants to see many young athletes elevated at the PNG Games, especially female athletes.
Yeah, my encouragement to them is, give it your best shot. I know everybody has the talent in them, and I hope to see one of these athletes, women athletes, reach the pinnacle of success.
The visit was also to lift the game spirit as provinces prepare to send in their teams for the biggest sporting event in the nation. Just last month, another sporting legend and PNG Games ambassador, Scott Prince, was in town. Scott Prince, Livingston Sogoli, Toya Whistle and Dika are the 4 Games ambassadors for the 2014 PNG Games. Sylvester Gawi, National EMTV Sports, Lae.
PNG Sprint Queen Toya Whistle today officially opened the new Hornbill exhibition at Port Moresby's Nature Park. Also present was mascot for the 2015 Pacific Games, Tura the Kokomo, and representatives of Bank South Pacific. The Hornbill exhibition is open to the public at the Nature Park just outside Port Moresby.
Brand ambassador for Bank South Pacific, Toya Whistle, officially opened the new Hornbill exhibit at Port Moresby's Nature Park. This is part of the BSP Bank's gold sponsorship and support of the park. Also in attendance was Tura the Kokomo and representatives from Bank South Pacific. The opening by PNG Sprint Queen was particularly appropriate, given the new exhibit is home to friends and one-talks of Tura the Kokomo. General Manager for Port Moresby's Nature Park, Michelle McGeorge, was exceptionally thankful to BSP for supporting their latest upgrade and development and for enabling the Nature Park to showcase one of PNG's most charismatic animals in such a wonderful facility.
The Nature Park is working very hard at the moment with a number of upgrades that will be ready in time for the 2015 Games so that the tourists, when they come, can also experience some of PNG's amazing flora and fauna, and also we can showcase some of the culture in the park.
She also said more new developments are expected to occur in the lead-up to the 2015 Pacific Games. Sprint Queen Toya Whistle said having facilities as such is good for conservation and also to teach young people about nature and environment.
Next year going to be South Pacific Games, and it's good for tourists to come and see the nature park and see how amazing PNG nature park is, and it will be good for them to come and see all the animals.
The new exhibit can be found within the Nature's Park Rainforest Precinct, along with park's resident casuaries, and features a floor-to-roof glass viewing, with a signboard panel that includes facts on both cassowaries and hornbills and a traditional story on the animal park in Central Province. This year alone will see over 115,000 people visit the nature park, making it the highest visited attraction. With Pacific Games next year, the number of visitors is expected to triple. Godwin Aki, National, MTV Sports.
Team Bougainville will be sending 20 participants in Taekwondo for the 2014 PNG Games in Leh, Morobe Province. Bougainville Taekwondo President Wenceslao Soatsin said although there is no proper equipment and training facilities for the team, he is confident that the team will do well in the Games.
MTV managed to catch up with Team Bougainville's Taekwondo team during a training session in Buka yesterday in preparation for the 6th BSP PNG Games. The team of 20, comprising 8 women and 12 men, have been training for the past 3 months, and Bougainville Taekwondo President Wenceslao Soatsin is confident the team will do well. He said they have received financial assistance from the Bougainville government to travel to Leh. However, they are still waiting for proper equipment for training at home.
Big play heavy through me play mem lo equipment. Me play no gatolo proper equipment lo training mo lo or at least from play lo use him. Here too no gatolo good play facilities where all athletes by can train longen. So I'm big play obstacle through me play walk lo pace him lo here.
When asked who were the favorites to win medals at the Games, Soatsin said there were a couple that we would look out for. However, no names were given.
All girls have been making good stride lo last PNC Games. Today too me walk lo look long all because lo think me got popular girls were all even all step inside lo PNC elite team long prepare lo sila coming Pacific Games. Long all boys me got sample unknown step. Mainly lo heavyweight lo me got one play athlete two only new play, but last PNC Games even kiss him goal, so me walk look long.
Judith Kasek, National, MTV Sports.
And Trukai Sports continues after the break. Former Kumul Stanley Gene's autobiography, Daydream Believer, and updates on the Four Nations series. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. PNG Rugby League great Stanley Gene, who resorted to coaching after hanging up his boots in 2008, is in the country. Gene's telling tale of the pathway to the success of his rugby league career in England is a living testimony. Born and bred at Genoka Settlement in Goroka, Gene rose to fame in London through rugby league. He talked about his struggle in his early childhood in his autobiography, Daydream Believer.
Stanley Gene is a name synonymous with rugby league in the town of Goroka and now the country and the world.
And get back to the world ranking that we used to be fourth, many years ago, and I think at this stage now we are probably 8th, which shows that we're still a long way, which we need to improve on.
Gene was brought up in the Genoka community in Goroka, who unfortunately wasn't able to complete his upper secondary study, passing out in grade 10 at Goroka Secondary School. His autobiography speaks for itself. When asked about why he chose Daydream Believer for his autobiography title, this is what he said.
A song called Daydream Believer, which they, transformed the song into my song when I'm playing over there. For me, Daydream Believer is like when I was growing up in Goroka, I always, we had nothing to do. During the day, we just sit around the airport and watch the plane go by and dream one day that, hopefully I will represent the country, and never dreamed about getting abroad and play rugby football league.
It was like yesterday when he first set foot at the Lloyd Robson Oval in Port Moresby, making his test debut for the PNG Kumuls against France. Gene contributed a field goal to Kumuls' 29-22 victory. From there on, he never looked back, adding 3 World Cup records for the PNG Kumuls. During his stints with Adelsville Giants, Bradford's Bull, Hull FC and Halifax, in a 13-year playing career in the British game, he contributed to the growth of rugby league in the country through Stanley Gannett Foundation. The Gateshead Thunder head coach is also on a lookout for potential players. Tere Alex, National EMTV Sports.
And that wraps up our True Kind Sports segment for tonight. Coming up next, the weather details. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
This weather information is proudly brought to you by Tablebirds.
The weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in southern region: Port Moresby, possible evening showers, fine in Darrow, evening showers in Kerema, cloudy periods in Alotau, and a shower or two expected in Popondetta. Well, that's been National EMTV News. On behalf of the news crew, I'm Tokana Hasavi. Thanks for your company. You take care and stay safe. Good night.